Hello everyone, and welcome to my Nightmare 4-player achievement tips and tricks video. I'll show you some tips and tricks that you can apply to all levels, while also showing level-specific advice for some of the harder levels, so that you can have an easier time getting the achievement. Now, this video specifically is aimed at those who are trying to get the Nightmare role on the developer's Discord server, which has a couple of rules attached to it. So I am going to abide by those rules, but that also means that I'm gonna be using cheeses, out-of-bound glitches and skips that are easy and that you can use in your Nightmare run if you want to get the achievement. I'm gonna assume that you already know how to beat all the levels and you've already done that. If you haven't or if you don't know, then there are good guides out there that you can use to figure that out. And instead I'll focus on giving advice to those who already more or less know how to play the game. First, I'll start off with some general advice that can be applied to all levels. First of all, you want to learn how to bunny hop, which is the most essential trick that everybody should know in this game before attempting Nightmare. So normally, when you hold sprint, my side button, this one, is my sprint key. When you hold sprint, you will run out of stamina eventually. And we want to prevent that. So in order to prevent that, we're going to sprint, jump, and once we're in air, we're gonna release our sprint key. As you can see, I'm not holding my sprint key while in air, but I'm still moving at full speed. And if I chain this together, I sprint, jump, sprint, jump, sprint, jump, and while in air, I don't hold my sprint key, I can sprint forever, because holding the sprint key is what drains your stamina. So if you just don't hold it whatsoever, only when you touch the ground, you can sprint forever by bunny hopping. The next thing you want to learn how to do is duping, and it's very simple. If you're not the host, just move the item around in your inventory. Because you have a little bit of lag from the host, the item's gonna start duplicating itself. And I really have no idea why this hasn't been fixed yet, but it's been in the game for an eternity pretty much by now. And it's very easy to do, just move the item around. Your success depends on how bad your connection is, so if you're extra laggy, you're gonna dupe an item on every single item move. And these are all real items. You can dupe anything, you can dupe everything. Objective items like almond concentrate, you can dupe it, moth gel, you can dupe it, almond water. Chainsaws for other players, it's very useful. Learn how to do this if you're not the host, because you're gonna be doing this a lot. And if you're the host, then have somebody else dupe the items for you, like almond water or moth jelly, so that you have a supply of it if you ever need any. The next thing that you should know is crowd jumping. If you just press space, you cannot get on top of most objects. However, if you press space and crouch, you can jump on top or over a lot of objects, and this is very useful for certain out-of-bound skips, which I'm gonna show, certain cheese methods, etc., and just jumping over objects on different levels, like level run. Very useful trick to learn, and it's very simple to do. You just jump and press crouch, and this allows you to jump way higher. The next thing you want to do is go to settings, scroll all the way down in graphics, and turn your gamma up to the very highest. As you can see, this makes the game way brighter and allows you to see in dark areas even without a flashlight. However, some levels will not let you do this because of shadows, and to fix that, we're gonna actually turn all of our settings down to low. Don't use the overall quality because that's gonna make your game look really pixelated. Just manually change everything to low. What this will do is it will allow you to see in the dark on pretty much all levels, and also allow you to see through walls. As you can see, it's not that useful on this level to be able to see through walls, but on other levels you can see the exit through walls and you can see entities through walls, which is just extremely overpowered, and if you're not using this, you're at a disadvantage. And now I'm going to move on to level specific advice, starting with level 1. If you get chased by a skin stealer on level 1, in the key area, don't hide, just start running around level like this. While an entity is chasing you, you have infinite stamina, and since I'm faster than the skin stealer, it will never catch up to me. And while you do this, your teammates can collect the keys with one less skin stealer to worry about. So as long as he has line of sight on me, he's just gonna keep chasing. And he will ignore everybody else, they can go click the keys. What you need to watch out for is if the second skin stealer also chases you. Because in that case, if one of the two skin stealers that are chasing you stop the chase, you will lose your infinite stamina. And at that point you will need to either hide or bunny hop, unless you want to run out of stamina and just die. If you're stuck in a situation where the skin stealer has ended up inside this room and he's stuck on the door, but the exit is open and your teammates are waiting for you inside, this might look troublesome because you physically cannot get the skin stealer out of the room. However, it's perfectly fine to just run in. The skin stealer will not catch up to you because it takes a second for him to turn around. Now that we're on the next level, this is where the low graphics come in. As you can see with low view distance, I can see through walls. It allows me to see that the exit is not on the top floor. Also, I see everything perfectly on high gamma and low shadows. Then over here, I can check that the elevator's on the second floor. But let's say it's on the third floor. In that case, I can just stand over here, and I see through the wall. So the second the skin stealer starts coming up the ramp, over there, because the skin stealer spawns on the third floor, I'm gonna be able to know that he's coming, and once I see him go up and leave, I can run, sprint down the ramp, and go to the exit over there. And there we go, there's the skin stealer. I see him walking around the third floor. On electrical station, you want to know how to deal with the dogs properly, because before I open this door, the dog is essentially just Schrodinger's dog. He could be right in front of the door, could be at the very back. And the only way to know is to observe it. And how do we observe it? Like a SWAT team infiltrating a building. You're gonna tap the door once to make sure the dog is not right in front of the door, and then slowly open it. Well, there's the dog. Once you spot the dog, close the door, wait for the dog to run away, and then you can go in and do your stuff. As you can see, dog running away. I can go, do whatever I want. I have some time to spare here before the dog can spot me again. And once he does, same procedure. I close the door, wait for him to run away, and then I keep going. Remember to have a flashlight on you, because the flashlight can stun the dog once in Nightmare, which gives you a lot of time. Let's try it on this room. Tap the door a couple times. Dog is not here. So I know he's either like over there in the back left or close right. Oh, there he is. Now just wait for him to spot me. Once he does, I close the door. I wait again for him to run away. And then I open the door and go in the room. And this is pretty much completely safe. The quick tapping is the most important thing here, because sometimes the dogs like to camp the doors here. Here's the stun, very useful. This door in particular, the dog often camps it. Could be close right too, but he's over there. I wait for him to spot me. He spots me, and I go hide behind the door. And you just repeat this from the entire level, as you do generators. For the first floor of the hotel, I don't have much advice to give to you, other than just dupe mouth jelly. It's a very powerful item, which gives you both the juice and the energy bar effect, and also restores 35% of your sanity. So with it, and with how fast you consume it, it can save your life on some levels if an entity chases you and you're not ready for it, by giving you that extra speed boost for 10 seconds. For the next floor, however, I have a very useful piece of advice, and that is to just brute force this code, because there are only 3 possible code combinations which you can brute force faster than the entities will come to the spawn area. So this is the first one, it didn't work. I move on to the second one. Quickly input it, oops, extra click. And that's the combination, that's it. Doors open, entities didn't even have a chance to come here. And with this you proceed to the next area. And for the next area I have just one piece of advice, drop your flashlight. Why? Because there's a glitch where if you hold your flashlight and you turn it on, then the moths will be able to chase you, regardless of whether you're crouching or not. So normally, if you crouch, the moths are gonna ignore you, like 100%. Even if I go and walk up, like, right under it, I'm not gonna do that just in case I hit the hitbox and it kills me. But as you can see, as long as I'm crouching, the moth isn't gonna do anything. With the flashlight though, it's gonna chase you regardless. For level fun, I'm gonna show you the most consistent route for the entire level, so that you don't die, because on some routes you can die sometimes, because the party cores, even though it looks like they're not random, they're actually slightly differently angled every time you play, which can make some usually safe routes unsafe. For the first room, one player is gonna walk here and get the aggro of this party goer. And after you do that, all the party goers are frozen, so everyone can just run past. For the second room, you're gonna crouch jump up between these two chairs until you cannot move sideways. You see I cannot move sideways? And pop the balloon. If you do this, now this party goer is frozen, so you can run past him. And for this big room, which is where a lot of the trouble arises, all 4 players will go into this corner right here and just wait. So the first player will hug the right wall and sprint forward until they get aggro. After you get aggro, you're gonna hold A to go towards left wall, like this. And if you do this, the party goers will never catch up to you. Okay, now the second, third, and fourth players, the reason why you stand in this corner is because this party goer, after he comes back, is gonna turn around, so you don't want him to spot you. Now then, after the first chase, whoops, I'm low on sanity. After the first chase happens, that party goer in the back that would have spotted you here and caused this party goer to run ahead of you and trap you in is gonna be looking away, so all the next players are just gonna hug the left wall instead of doing the right wall trick I showed earlier. And every single player after me just hugs left wall, runs under here. Now, last party goer, you can either crouch behind him or go behind the stable and pop the balloon to freeze him, which everyone can now run past, and I'm dying to sanity. Level run in multiplayer works slightly differently from single player. In single player, once you pass this line, the chase will start, but in multiplayer, all players have to pass this line. So until everybody does, the chase won't trigger even if someone walks past here. You can walk all the way over to this line right here, and unless you cross it, the chase will not start. If you cross this line, then these party goers will come out of the rooms and kill you, so don't do that. But if you don't, you can use all of the space to create some distance between the 4 players. So the first player is gonna stand over here, the second over here, and the third over here. And then the last 4th player is gonna trigger the chase. So they count down 3, 2, 1, start sprinting, and there's a lot of distance between everyone. Here's the path you normally take on level 1. If you get stuck on an object, don't panic, take a step back, and then sprint forward and jump. Preferably crouch jump. If you don't crouch jump and you're not moving forward, it's very hard to get up on the object because you don't have any speed. However, if you do this, you have enough speed to get over the object. If you're feeling extra stylish, you can crouch jump over some objects to go faster. Remember, this only works if you crouch and jump. If you jump normally, you don't jump high enough to do this. You can make it through the middle in many different ways, but don't try to nightmare, this takes a lot of practice. On the end, you do not want to ring the fire alarm unless you're the host. If you're not the host and you ring the fire alarm, it will not work properly, and the entity will like semi-ignore the fire alarm. It will still chase other players, and it won't walk all the way over to the fire alarm. So the host of the lobby, who created the lobby, is gonna ring the alarm. And once the host does that, everybody else is gonna go and collect the tapes on the right side. After the right side, you go and collect the tips in the back. And once you're ready to collect the left side, the host is gonna come over here and ring this fire alarm. And once the host does that, you just collect the tapes here. And that's it. By that point, you should have the level completed. On the off chance that you do get chased by the entity, you can hide under the tables and wait for it to leave, so it's not the end of the world. And after you do that, you interact with the PC, and the exit will open. Level 94, if you bunny hop perfectly, or not perfectly, but you just don't run out of stamina, and you use the correct truck, you can make it all the way to the exit without having to wait the night. So during those 3 minutes of the day, you can make it to the exit. I'm gonna show you the route you should take and the truck you should use. And then I'm gonna show you what you can do if you don't make it until nighttime. Ignore the two trucks here, they're gonna slow you down if you take them. However, you should take the almond water. And here is the truck. If you go into the truck, it will activate, so wait for everyone to be here, and then after everyone's here, just go into the truck. You will all fit inside, just barely. Don't jump. If you jump even once, you and everybody else in this damn truck is gonna go flying out of the doors. Because the truck doesn't carry the player's momentum over. So as soon as you jump, you're technically standing in place and the truck's moving away from you. So you're just gonna push everybody out of the truck. I know some of you are gonna do this just to troll your teammates, and I'm guilty of this myself. It's funny sometimes. But if you don't want to sabotage, then don't jump. Just stand around here, maybe even hold S to make sure you don't fall out. And once the truck arrives, you can keep going. Now let's say that you don't make it. Right here, if I keep going to the castle, I'm gonna make it all the way to the rope in time. So I'm fine. But let's say some of your teammates don't. And if they don't, they will usually make it around this house. The first thing you can do on any house, if you're in a pinch, is that you can hide through walls. You don't have to actually go inside the house to hide under the bed or in the closet. Even if I'm outside, I can go in easily. This can save your life. The other thing you can do is you can stand on the fence in an area that's unreachable to the animations. So right here, the animations, they don't know where I am. Their pathfinding can't figure out where I'm standing. And once the moon stops moving, that's when the nighttime has fully transitioned. You can leave the fence. And as you can see, nothing spawned. I'm alone in the level, with no animations. And I can go all the way to the end, even though it's nighttime. To do this, obviously, everybody has to stand on the fence. If someone's out in the open, animations will spawn around them. If someone's in the exit, it's fine. Animations won't spawn for people who are up in the castle already. But yes, that's pretty much the strategy. It saves you like 1 minute of waiting for nighttime. If you don't want to risk doing it, you can just hide in the house like I showed you. After completing the puzzle, I sure hope you're not doing this level normally, because all you have to do to complete this level is you go over here to where the timer is, and you stand on this edge right here. Do not hug the fence. Stand on this edge, right here, along the edge, and just look back over here. If you do this, you can AFK for the entire 100 seconds. The clown will never kill you. It can't go behind you because you're standing far away from the fence where it can't reach you. And it also can't come in front of you because it's gonna disappear the second you see it. As you can see, even if it spawns in front of you, that's it. No luck. So all 4 players just wait along this line for the timer to run out, and after the timer runs out and hits 100 seconds, wait for the clown to despawn one more time, because as you run to the cart, it might spawn inside of you, it might catch you off guard. But once you see it despawn, you can run over to the cart and leave. There's also another spot, which is safe, and it's over here in this corner. If you stand like this, look at the clown, it cannot kill you in any way. And then all you have to do is just look right and interact with the cart once the timer runs out. I do have to warn you, do not crowd jump on this card, because it launches you. And if another player is standing nearby, it can launch you off the map and end your run. I'm gonna skip level 6 because there is really not that much advice I can give you. Just crouch. As long as you crouch, the entity cannot kill you, even if you're walking. And make sure that you know where the exit is. So just all crouch, one after another, and follow one person to the exit while using our LiDAR scanners to light the area up. It's gonna take a couple minutes, but you cannot die unless you stand up. For Thalassophobia, you can just normally take the boat and go to the end, but that's slow. So what you wanna do is you wanna first get your sanity full, because your sanity cannot drain in a boat, but it can drain while you're swimming in the water. And after your sanity is full, what you wanna do is you wanna spam sprint as you walk into the water. And this can take a couple attempts, but if you do it right, I said if you do it right, come on. Yeah, here we go. If you spam sprint while walking into the water, there's a chance that you're gonna be swimming around extra fast. As you can see, this is way faster than boat speed. And with this, you can just swim over to the very end of the level, and this is gonna be around 1 minute faster than taking the boat. There is the danger of running out of sanity, but as long as your sanity is full, when you start the fast swim, you can reach the end without running out of sanity. And it's obviously up to you if you want to do this or not, but I usually do this in my runs because it just saves 1 minute and there's no real big risk to it. Cave level, you want to do the same thing you did on Boiler Room, and you want to get rid of your flashlight. So don't hold your flashlight, hold something else. Why? Because the moths can sometimes aggro onto... You might want to crouch earlier and walk carefully, because some of these bumps can apparently still aggro the moth. That doesn't happen too often, but if it happens, you're very unlikely to react to it in time and run back with 4 players in the lobby. It might look like it's a little difficult to see my surroundings here, but it's almost perfectly visible without a flashlight, so don't worry about it too much. Once you make it to the 3rd section is when the interesting part begins. So normally you can just go there, cross the bridge one by one, and this last part normally, where the normal way to do the last part is you go along the right side, you hug the right wall. If you see the skin stealer, you run back to the start. The skin stealers are faster than you. And you just repeat until the right side is open and everyone makes it to the exit. But as you can tell, there are a couple issues with that strategy. The first one is that it can take a long time, depending on the RNG, if the skin stealers keep blocking your way. And the second is that the skin stealers are faster than you. So if you don't have any moth jelly, they can catch up and kill you. Which is why, instead, many people opt for a different strategy called cave skip. You have to... After you enter the 3rd area, you have to go to the left and head over to this rock right here. It's a little tricky, but you crowd jump. The first crowd jump is easy. Crowd jump into this gap. After you crowd jump, you tap S once, and then you uncrouch. If it doesn't work, you tap S again. Until you can uncrouch. It's a little tricky. Okay, here I am. Just tap S until you can uncrouch. Now that you're standing up on pretty much air, you have to crowd jump again to make it into the next rock. And after that, you want to crowd jump again to make it up onto this rock. And now you want to normal jump forward. No crowd jump, just normal jump. And you're gonna find yourself walking on this, like, bridge of rock, but you're outside the map. Once outside the map, you wanna jump up here with crowd jumps and head over to this area here. You want to crowd jump into this gap here, walk up here, jump up a little bit carefully to not fall into one of the cracks, jump over to this area, stand up on this random thing, and jump forward. Crowd jump forward. Here we go. After you make it up here, you head to the right, go down this little pathway here, crowd jump onto this wall, crowd jump down to make it onto the side here. Run all the way up, crowd jump to the side again, and once you're here, find this drop and jump off. Now that you're here, your next goal is to run across here, all the way over to the back. We're above the skin steers right now. Route jump up here, anywhere, just make it up this boulder thing. And here's the dangerous part, because you can slip off and fall into the void if you do it way too wrong. But normally if you just stick to the middle and jump down the entire thing, even if you get stuck in some crevice like this, you can make it out. Make your way over here and drop down. There is no ceiling keybox. And this is the exit. Once all the players do this and go up the ladder right here, you finish the level by entirely skipping the skin steer section, meaning that you don't have to worry about dying to the skin steers. And it might look a little difficult, but if you practice the cave skip, you can get this down consistently without falling out of the map. I've personally never fallen out of the map on cave skip. And when I do nightmare runs with other people, I usually teach them how to do cave skip in the nightmare run. So it's their first time doing the skip. In game, I teach them and I lead them to the exit and nothing bad ever happens. So don't worry about it. In my opinion, it's safer, faster and more efficient than doing the last part normally. This part's a little tricky. You might ask, how so? You just chainsaw the wall down. Well, after you chainsaw the wall down, you wanna wait around here for this rubble to despawn. Preferably. And after it starts despawning and the ground is flat, all the players enter the area at the same time, together. So that you more or less no-clip at the exact same moment. Why? Well, this place is a little buggy and there is a small chance that you might die if one player goes extra early or if there is still rubble. I have no idea why that happens, how that happens, but it does happen. And if you want to prevent it, you want the rubble to despawn and then you want all the players to go in at the same time. Now this next area, you normally do it by chainsawing the doors down and having each player hit one of the 4 switches at the same time. But we're gonna do it differently. The host player is gonna run over here to the left. And we're gonna aggro the bacteria onto us. Unless it does that, I guess. Which should be around now. You bait it over to this vent in the back, where you're gonna crouch, but you're not gonna go in all the way, you're gonna go in slightly. And if you do this, the bacteria is gonna get stuck on you. It will never leave you and will just keep standing here. During this time, everybody else can go and do the trick I'm about to show you. So for the lever, you just wanna have someone spam click it. And the door's gonna open. That's it. If you have 3 players clicking this lever at the same time, and one of them double clicks it at least once, then that's 4 lever clicks, and it allows you to open the door and bypass doing the other levels completely. What I just did is I have bound my interact button to scroll wheel using the config, and then I just used my scroll wheel to interact with this lever like 20 times instantly. But you don't need to have anything bound to scroll wheel, because with 3 non-host players helping you, you can get the switch pretty easily by just spamming your F key. Once the exit door is open, you just want to go back to the vent and wait a couple seconds, the bacteria is gonna leave you. Here we go, it left me. Now just wait for it to leave me, like completely, and I can go and make my way over to the exit. Next we have level 9, and this is probably another choke point for many players because it's tricky. You have wretches in the houses, it's a very confined space which might feel difficult to deal with, but fortunately there are cheese methods for pretty much every house on this level. So here are the houses, and I'm gonna go from the first to the last house and explain how you can do the computer in every single one of them. For this first house out here, which you spawn in front of, just have somebody who isn't gonna do the level because they're not confident. Go in the house, go upstairs, and check this room in the back. The computer is gonna spawn on this table here. If it doesn't spawn, it doesn't spawn. If it spawns, you have one computer done. The next house is this house over here, which is left of mech base. And there's a wretch inside, so it might look difficult, but fortunately this wretch is a little stupid. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna bait the wretch into chasing you. Okay, here we go. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna head over to the garage right here. And it's just gonna walk out of the house. That's it. You just let other people know that there's a wretch on the street now. And once it's outside, you go back inside and do the computer upstairs, which is gonna be over on this table. The wretch is gonna stop chasing you by the time it reaches like the garage or something, so it's gonna start roaming around the street, and sometimes it falls through the ground. It's really confusing, but the point is, leave the wretch outside. Once you're done with the house, you go outside. If the wretch does come back into the house, you can easily loop it around this structure, the fence near the stairs, and leave the house. The next house is this one in the corner left of the exit. And it's very straightforward. You just go in the house, go back here, and do the computer that's on this table. For the house that's right next to the mech base over here, you just want to make sure that the neighborhood watch is not on the street. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna walk up to this wall where the computer is, and you're just gonna do it through the wall. If you're outside of the house, the wretch cannot get you. And if there's no neighborhood watch, this is perfectly safe. That's it. House cheesed. The next house is this big one with the hub entrance in the basement. What you want to do is find out where the wretch is. It's over there. And while the wretch is not looking, you wanna just crouch walk up the stairs so that it doesn't hear you. Go into this room. Close the door. Close the lock. And do the computer on this table. Once you're done, once again, don't make any noise or it's gonna come over and cam the door. Once you know the wretch is not close, you open the door and you leave the house, and my sanity slogan. The next house is this one to the right of mech base, and it's very straightforward. Just go in the house and the computer's over here, there's no wretch. The last two houses are both in this corner, and they're pretty difficult normally, but there's a cheese method for this house in particular. And it's you go over here, crowd jump on the trash can, and you carefully crowd jump on this wall, carefully. If you jump over the wall, you're soft locked, that's it, you run us over, you cannot get back into the map from this side. So you carefully crowd jump on this fence, get up on the roof, and from over here, you can do this computer through the wall. Just make sure the neighborhood watch isn't here, because then it can cause some complications. And then for this house next door, what you want to do is you want to look through the window to find out where the wretch is. If the wretch is upstairs, you can go directly and do the trick I'm about to show you. If it's downstairs, you can bait the wretch in a pretty interesting way. What you can do is you can crouch jump on this table, and you can crouch jump over the wretch. I know this looks really dangerous, but it's way safer than it looks. And then you can just parkour your way over here, go inside, close the door, lock it, and do the computer. And once you're ready to leave, you... Okay, here we go. And the rush is gonna go up the stairs all around here. Once it does that, you just crowd jump down. And to leave the house, make sure the neighborhood watch is here. That's it, house completed. Alternatively, I'm gonna show you something real quick. With this door that you can do, if you bait the wretch over to the door, you can push the wretch out of the house by opening and closing the door. But do this extra carefully so that it doesn't kill you. Eventually you can push it out of the... Here we go. Holy crap, that almost killed me. But once it's out of the house, it can't go back inside, so you just open the door, and that's it. This pool doesn't know what to do. It's gonna be standing over here in this corner, right here. So you do the computer normally, and then you just leave the house. For abandoned outpost, one player gets the wish to chase them and runs around in circles, while the other players collect almond concentrate. Once you put all 4 almond concentrate into the machine, the player who's running around with the wretch can bait the wretch to stand in the shower, and that's it, that's abandoned outpost completed. For level 10, this is another good example of why you want to use low graphics. As you can see, this is just a field now. And this is also another example of why you want to bunny hop, because on this level you will be followed around by this little sneaky person in the first area. And this sneaky person faceling, if you run out of stamina and walk for too long without looking back, it's gonna sneak up on you and kidnap you. And you don't want that to happen. So bunny hop through this first section. And for the second section I'm gonna show you a little skip / trick you can do. Once everybody reaches this area, you don't have to worry about the sneaky faceling anymore. What you do instead is you go over here into this corner and you crowd jump up here and onto the fence. And now you just carefully follow this specific path, which will lead you all the way to the end of the level without having to go through the field itself, which is where the facelings with the chainsaw are. So as long as you do this, you're completely safe. Just make sure that you don't fall off the fence, because if you do that, you're very likely to get soft locked unless it's a normally reachable area, which most of the time it's not, and you don't want that to happen. And once you do this, that's level 10 complete. For this level with the Bun Thief, if you choose to do it the normal way, then the only advice I can give you is aim your flashlight through walls, like this, before you walk out, because the flashlight is gonna kill smilers through the wall, which means that this smiler is gonna be dead before you even walk around the corner. If you don't do that, there's a chance that you run into a smiler and die. However, we're here to cheese Nightmare, not to do it like a proper player, and to do that, you do this very dangerous trick where you crouch jump on this generator and spam crouch and jump to get up here. If you fail this and fall over into that area, I think you know damn well what's gonna happen, so practice this before trying it in a real Nightmare run. Once you're up here, you walk over here and you sprint downwards. What I just did is I made it so that the smilers are gonna ignore me completely. It's just the skin stealer that can come after me. Once you're down here, you can enter the level through one of the normal no-clip zone areas, which is somewhere around here. And as you can see, the smilers are harmless. They can't do anything to me if I enter the level via this method. So now my only concern is dealing with the skin stealer, and he's not a very big issue when you don't have to worry about the smilers. So you can just run around the level and do all the doors normally. Now, one important thing that I need to mention is that this chainsaw is actually faster than the other chainsaws in the game. Other chainsaws take 3 hits to break a door, this one takes 2, so if you have an old chainsaw in your inventory, drop it and dupe this chainsaw instead. Then if two players use the chainsaw on this door at the exact same time, it's gonna break like almost instantly. You can jump over here in the middle to not waste time. You can crouch jump over this fence onto the stairs here. Do not crouch jump down the middle, you're gonna fall into the hole. And then if you're not the person that's running in front, you got to be careful, because this door opens from this trigger right here. So it opens slightly later, it might fuck you over. That's it. Level 188 is something that we're not gonna do normally. We're gonna skip this level altogether. And to do that, we only need to find a single TV. After you find the TV, there are a couple things to know about it. First, if you hold sprint and then interact with the TV, you can run with it to go faster. And second is the TV acts as a solid wall, so the entity cannot see you through the TV. You can lean around the TV to check for the entity. Grab the TV, and you want to do the sprint with the TV trick into the door. This will clip the TV through the wall here. And after you do, you walk to the side of the TV, press S once, so you take a step back. And after you take a step back, you interact with the TV again. And if you do this, you have successfully clipped through the wall. Now the other 4 players also have to do this, and once you do this, you can all go into the exit and skip collecting the TVs. Be careful though, because if the TV isn't sufficiently far enough from the wall, or if they interact with the front of the TV, you're gonna softlock yourself to the wall. So I suggest you practice the skip as well. But once you do practice it, there is pretty much zero risk of softlocking. Alternatively, you don't have to take the TV down to the first floor. You can instead bring it over to here and clip it through this wall. And then if you press S, interact, do the same thing, and everyone makes it over to this area here, you can sprint forward here, and you will fall directly into the exit. On dark poolrooms, the boat is excruciatingly slow, but you can bypass this pulse of bacteria by crowd jumping and holding sprint the entire time. So I hold sprint, I crowd jump, and I can sprint through the entire pool. Alternatively, you can just eat a moth jelly or use juice and then sprint through the water normally with a speed boost effect. And the last thing you can do in here is just spam crowd jump. And if you do that, you can cross the entire pool. Make it to the first section normally. And then 2 of the 4 players are gonna go back up so that they're safe. 1 player is gonna get the clump and they're gonna run around this little pool with the clump. They can jump over the water if they need some distance, distract the clump, while the 4th player is gonna go there and they're gonna do all the valves before leaving the level. And once... oh, here's the clump. So the player who's baiting the clump is gonna be jumping around here. It's very safe. There's like absolutely no way you die on here. After everyone's done, all the valves are complete and everyone's in the exit, you just run over after them and leave this part. For the waterfall section, instead of doing the valves and filling the water pool, you're instead gonna go over here and crowd jump over this wall. And then you're gonna use the trick I showed you earlier to make it through the pool of infected water. For the second section, you want to do the same thing you did in the first section. 2 players leave, 1 player baits the clump around the square pool, and the other person does 2 valves. Then you get the clump to leave, and you do the 3rd valve, and you leave the level. Or something like that, just be mindful of the clump. Third section, you're gonna have to do it on Nightmare now. Previously, you used to be able to skip this section by jumping over, but now you have to do it. And on this section, you do the same thing you do in the first and second sections. 1 player goes over here immediately and just runs around with the clump around this pool while everybody else does the valves. And once all the valves are complete, they're gonna leave with the clump, and someone's gonna do this valve and that valve. And that's the entire level for you. I'm not gonna show you where the valves are or how to complete this level. You can search for a level guide if you don't know where they are, but it's not that difficult. Level fun expanded. For the tape part, I have no real advice. For the Glowstick part, I have no real advice, except that the particle is practically legally blind. It's very slow, it's not gonna see you unless it's right next to you. So just be mindful of where the particle is, so you don't accidentally run into him in the dark. And you can have someone watching the particle, making sure you know that it's in a specific room or a section of the hallway. Balloon. There are a couple tricks you can do on this part. And first is, you should obviously know where the keys spawn. You can pop this balloon to make sure there isn't a particle around here. Now the key spawn, one key spawn is back there, and the other 3 key spawns are in the main room. So your goal is to have someone make it into the main room. You can have 2 players hide in the exit, near the exit under the tables, and have 2 players watch. So there are 3 total partygoers, and I know that 2 partygoers are over there right now, so I'm safe from them. And this partygoer is chasing me. So just like that, I've made it into the main room. Now in the main room, I just pop all of the balloons to find where the key is. And looks to me like the key isn't here. Yep. Obviously leaving this room is also dangerous, so you just have someone tell you whether it's safe to leave or not. We're gonna have another player standing here telling you. And if it's safe to leave, run out and go back to the exit. The other key spawn is back here in one of these balloons. You should check that first. Here it is. So you check this before going to the main room, because that's far riskier. And now, a couple of tricks. First of all is you can use lean to look through the walls if you sprint and time it, and this gives you wall hacks on the main room. You can also set your FPS to 30 and jump lean, like this. Jump and press the lean keybind in the same frame, which is easier to do on 30 FPS. This is the other way to get wall hacks on the main room. And last trick is you can permanently freeze partygoers using balloons. So let me find a convenient table where I can do that. You need to be close to a partygoer that you want to freeze, and you wanna crouch as soon as you pop the balloon. You wanna do that at pretty much the exact same time. If you do it right, you're gonna permanently freeze the partygoer in place, but I didn't do it right this time. And here we go, I did it right. I timed the balloon pop and I hit under the table at the exact same time. And now this partygoer is completely bomb useless. He's just gonna be standing here. Don't walk into him, he can still kill you from the front. But other than that, you can just disable all 3 partygoers like this if you wish to. Very important thing, if a partygoer is chasing you, do not run into here. There's an invisible wall that's gonna block the partygoer, and the partygoer is gonna get stuck like this. And if that happens, then you're softlock, because no one can make it past this partygoer without dying. And the partygoer is never gonna leave you because you're in the exit area. Fireworks. You're gonna do it in one of the 2 ways. First, you obviously destroy this guy and make sure that no one's standing under him. Then, either one player does the level and everybody else hides under the tables, and last player just does level normally. Or, all players crowd jump up on this bookshelf and go right up against the wall. Like, directly against the wall, completely. If you take a step back, it doesn't work. And let me show you what happens if you're hugging that wall like this. Let's wait for them to come here. And as you can see, if I'm up against the wall, the partygoers are stuck in place if I'm on either of these things. Well, not really, I guess, but you get the point. You should practice this first if you want to go this route. Why is this useful? Because this level works in a way where two partygoers chase each player after getting aggroed. And if a player hides under the table, then their two partygoers go after somebody else. So if the player who's doing the level hides under the table, and then the partygoers all run over here and just AFK, then you have a solid like 30 seconds where you can do the level without having to worry about partygoers. Alternatively, you can have two players hide under the table and one player stand up against this wall to not risk this happening where I died just now. That way, just one player gets all the partygoer aggro onto them and freezes them. 55.1, leave at least one person up here and tell them to not mess around the edge, because I've messed around the edge in Nightmare once and I fell into the hole and lost the Nightmare run. That wasn't fun, so don't do that. If you're the player staying up here, just wait. Make sure you don't die to sanity. Now, why would you want someone to wait up here? That's because on the bottom floor, unless all players in multiplayer are on the bottom floor, the smellers are not gonna respawn. So by doing that and having at least somebody stay on the top floor, you can essentially do the bottom part without smilers once they all get killed or fall into the void or something like that. Now I'm gonna show you the easiest way to take a picture of the entity. Grab the elevator so you can jump up and immediately leave upwards. And then get the entity aggro. Also low graphics. Low graphics, you can see everything on this level, so you can see. Learn the locations for each object that you need to take a picture of. Now, if we do this, I can stand on the edge here and take a picture like this. It's gonna count. And after I do that, or hold on. Alternatively, I can get the entity under the elevator, wait. And once it stops chasing me, I can do the same thing. After that, just go up. It will despawn. Once you go up high enough. And then you can go down and head to the lower floor. Your camera obviously kills smilers. You have this tooltip at the bottom of your screen. The Moai are in two spots, either back here or back there. But what you want to do on Nightmare is you just want to wait for all smilers to die. Because someone's gonna be on the top floor, despawning the smilers permanently. Sometimes they're gonna go over to the edge and fall into the void. But the point is that eventually... Yeah, here we go, just fell. Now if I look down there, there's a smiler. Eventually all of the smilers are either gonna be permanently despawned or in the void. And it's safe to walk out into this level and collect the picture of Moai. Skin Stealer, however, is a little more risky, so what I prefer to do is I either just wait here for the Skin Stealer to aggro, or I go, like, it might aggro onto me from here, for example. Or alternatively, you can go up, which will despawn everything, and go down to respawn it. Because if you do that, then the Skin Stealer is gonna appear over here where he spawns again, and he's either gonna go like this, or sometimes in your direction, and if he does that, it will spot you. It will run over here, and then you can do the normal thing, where you go up and just take a picture like this. And that's it. That's all the tips and tricks that I wanted to show you for Nightmare. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I helped you get even a little better at Nightmare so that you can have an easier time getting the achievement. Have a nice day and good luck.